Often, the new element in really big ideas comes in the form of a disruption. Moving home, changing jobs, conflict and heartbreak can all stimulate your brain to start making some radical connections. In our lifetime, technology has been a major disruptor, making what was once impossible, possible. Take, for example, the old idea of an encyclopedia. Reapply it to the internet age and, hey presto, you have Wikipedia. The same applies to social disruption. What was once impermissible becomes permissible. Take, for instance, the graphic language and sexually explicit scenes in D.H. Lawrence's novel Lady Chatterley's Lover. The unabridged version was banned in Britain for over 30 years, until a court case in 1960 resulted in the decision being overruled. Profanities and illicit sex had always been part of life, but now it was finally acceptable to depict them in a literary form. British writers took full advantage of the change by producing groundbreaking work, from Philip Larkin's expletive-rich poem, This Be the Verse, to Joe Orton's socially provocative, Entertaining Mr. Sloane. Both writers were following in Lawrence's wake. They were, to an extent, copying him, or at least stealing an idea or two, which is something that always occurs in the creative process, but is often underplayed. The French writer Émile Zola once said when musing on art that it was simply a corner of nature seen through a temperament. In other words, creativity is the presentation of pre-existing elements and ideas filtered through the perceptions and feelings of an individual. Appropriating someone else's proven ideas is the obvious and inevitable place to start anything. We all know the saying attributed to Picasso, good artists copy, great artists steal. The aphorism has become a little tired over time, which is not entirely surprising, as it's been around for centuries. Picasso stole the maxim from the great French Enlightenment writer Voltaire, who commented 2 centuries earlier that originality is nothing but judicious imitation. The extensive list of creative geniuses queuing up to confess to intellectual property theft includes Isaac Newton, who said, "If I have seen further, it is by standing on the shoulders of giants," and Albert Einstein, who commented that creativity is knowing how to hide your sources. The reason these exalted individuals were so keen to credit others was not down to false modesty or shortness of self-belief, but because it was terribly important to them for us to know. They didn't want to mislead or foster any misplaced notions about creativity. They wanted to disabuse us of any inclination we might have to take a romantic view of what they had achieved, and to counter the erroneous notion that they were celestial souls blessed with divine inspiration. Both men were brilliant, of course, but perhaps not totally unlike you and me.